after the death camps, there was nothing more legitimate than anti-racism. Everybody was anti-racist, and I certainly was, but everybody was, because anti-racism at that point was protecting a few races who needed protection. And that was perfect. No one could make any objection to that. But anti-racism has totally changed meaning in the 70s, I think, more or less, in 75, for instance, with the proclamation of the dogma of the inexistence of races, effects, but races did not exist. And now people are convicted that races do not exist, which is very strange because it can be proclaimed only if you take races in the most racist, then pseudo-scientific exception of the world, that was something biological. Maybe races do not exist in a biological way. It's about biologic. I don't think it's true, actually, but I would not venture to have an opinion on the subject. But races are much more, of course, than a biological phenomenon. Races are, it's a very important word in all the language of the earth, and certainly European language. In poetry, the word appears all the time. In Greek tragedy, in everything, it's a word which is very strong in its meaning for centuries, and it is something which has relation to time, to cultures, to civilization, to family. It has enormous amount of meaning, and it is absurd to reduce it to a purely biological meaning, which is not very interesting anyway. And the proclamation of the dogma, the inexistence of the race, of the races, which is, I think, totally absurd, was a condition of global racism of people in Europe. But of course, the second career of Hitler is a career in reverse, upside down, Hitler as a phantom. Hitlerianism has been so horrible, but it was like a cancer, and they call all sorts of great specialists, great doctors to operate the cancers of Europe. And at the beginning, they removed the part which has cancer, but they were so enthusiastic or so convinced that Hitlerianism was still there somewhere in the legs or in the ears or in the fangs or in the heart. And they were
keep finding everywhere.
Yes. Yeah. And they remove things which are absolutely, it's very good that they removed Hitlerianism itself and that sort of racism, but it's terrible that they remove things which are essential to the existence of a people, of a country, like President Macron, or old president at one point, has said that there is no such thing as French culture, which is an imaginary concept. But they say all the time now that there is no such thing as Français de souche, it is autochthons in France, but it doesn't exist. It is a construction, but everything is a social construction. Even sexes are now mental construction. They are so happy with the suppression of races, but the big deal now is, of course, the suppression of sexes, of genders. They want humanity totally liquefied, which can be sold and exchanged everywhere. And so, anti-racism, which was a very legitimate and very necessary thing, has totally changed meaning and has become genocidal, because saying that there are no races is wanted to suppress races which contradict your dogma of the inexistence of races. And if there was not the dogma of the inexistence of races, French would never have accepted to have precisely different races being substituted to them. You mentioned the expression genocide by substitution, of which I am not the inventor. It has been invented by a French poet, a communist and black poet who was mayor of the city in the French Antilles, and he calls that expression genocide by substitution, because he was thinking that there were too many people from France going to Martinique as functionaries or commerçants, and they were changing the people because there were too many. And he spoke at the French National Assembly of genocide by substitution. And I think what is going on in Europe now deserves much more the expression, the phrase genocide by substitution, than the flux, the too big number of functionaries in Martinique.
I would like to ask a final question, and this, I think it's an important one. European countries, some of them more than the others, are becoming unrecognizable, and I would like to ask you, how much time is an unfair question to ask, but I will ask it anyway. How much time do you think Europe has to reverse this type of politicians too, let's say, and how can we not repeat something like this?
If we can reverse the process, I think the experience would be so clear that Europeans won't want to repeat it forever. I hope so, but maybe not. Your example is historical in time, but in geography, I think it's absolutely stupendous. See that Japan, which has been spared by that horror of demographic replacement, is taking in more and more foreigners. When there are photographs of crowds of Muslims in Japan, how Japan can see what has happened to Europe, how can he imitate it? Well, fortunately, it has now a government which seems decided to stop the movement, but the movement is still going on. All government in Europe have been saying for ages that they wanted to stop the movement, and what has made most people coming to Europe is new laws pretending that they would limit the number of people coming to Europe.